Anybody home?
Guards of an armored truck transporting a large amount of money, they are ambushed by a group of men led by Rook. They are trapped on an old bridge, while the robbers are trying to break into the truck. They must use all their abilities to protect their son and ensure they survive this dangerous situation. I will tell you the highlights of this movie. This film was released on November 22nd, 2024, and gained attention because Stallone takes on an antagonist role, which is rare for him. Let's dive straight into the story. The story begins with two men who are father and son who have the same job, namely sending money and goods from banks to be transferred or delivered. This man is James Brody and his son is Casey. And this was Frank's boss who told them to hurry up because they were 10 minutes late. In their work, they have a protocol where they don't have to know what items they are carrying, even though they are very heavy. In their daily work, James and Casey use an armored car to be safe from robbers, where the temperature inside the car is very hot. When he wanted to leave, James saw a black van that he didn't suspect at all. On the way, James realized that they were being followed by the car he saw earlier. The black van was aggressively intimidating James. Because of this, James asked Casey to call for help and told them that their vehicle had been attacked, but their radio was not functioning due to a signal block that had been prepared by the trained robbers. James was led to the road that the robbers had prepared. On the bridge, apparently, there was a car that greeted James and Casey. Because of this, they drove the car to reverse, but the robbers had already surrounded them. One of the robbers fired a gun, which caused the steel car to roll over. James and Casey tried to get out. They were met with a series of bullets from the robbers and gunfire ensued. Casey was shot in the thigh while James managed to knock out the two robbers and rushed back into the steel car to take cover. James tied his thighs to prevent continuous bleeding, which caused Casey to lose a lot of blood. All they could do was stay still and take cover in the car, which had overturned now because it had run out of bullets. Outside of Hook, the leader of the robbers invites James to chat and calls both of them by name. Hook even knows James' past, who is a former local police officer. Hook offered a good deal and took Casey to the hospital because Casey didn't lose much blood. It only took for hours. However, James is not stupid. He will not believe the robber because it makes no sense to let two witnesses live just like that. Curious about what the robbers wanted, James opened the safe, and what a surprise James was. He found a lot of gold bars and gold currency, which were assets of drug cartels in Mexico. Meanwhile, outside, one of the robbers gave them a Christmas gift in the form of tear gas so they would die of suffocation. With James' ability as a police officer, he closed all the existing air vents so that they could survive. Of course, all this was not easy. Apart from fighting the robbers, they also fought the hot temperature because they were in the car. While enduring the heat, Casey remembers a past incident where they still had a female figure. Previously, James was an active policeman. He and his family decided to go on holiday and go camping, but on the way, he saw a driver breaking the rules. Seeing this, James did not remain silent. However, his wife said that James was not on duty and was on holiday. Feeling responsible, James still reprimanded the driver, asking for a license and only giving a warning to the negligent driver. James rushed back into the car for a moment, and what a tragic fate they had. Due to the lack of lighting, their car was hit by a truck which caused an accident, and the wife died on the spot. In that situation, Casey always blamed his father, James, for neglecting to be a father. If only he hadn't stopped the driver, none of this would have happened. Meanwhile, the robbers tried to break into the steel car to take money and various gold. James tried to drink alcohol to calm the situation. Giving him a drink and pouring some on Casey's gunshot wound, they realized that the wound was very serious. Because they were cornered and the door was about to be forced open, they thought of a way to fight back with whatever weapons they had. Casey diverts attention by making a fake deal with Hook while James comes out with high-strength alcohol and intends to make a Molotov. He threw it and set one of the robbers on fire, shot with a stun gun, which made the other robber faint, and rushed back into the car, which annoyed one of the robbers. This caused the robbers to argue and miss each other's communication, which was calmed by the hook. In the car, they told each other what they were both hiding, feeling that this was the end of their lives, forgiving each other and sharing their love. Meanwhile, outside, there was a betrayal because he felt he was fed up with everything. One of the robbers hit the car and pushed it and shot it, causing the car to fall into the river. James opened the emergency door quickly and water entered the car, while Casey was trapped because his leg was crushed by a very heavy object. While James had the upper hand, James finally lost and was about to be shot, but the leader of the robbers, Hook, shot his colleague who betrayed him. Hook met them. James resigned himself to his fate, but Hook said that he was not a murderer. That was not his character. Hook told the police one more minute before James and Casey kept their secret. Are you aware that the person who picked up the hook was James and Casey's boss, Frank? Let us discuss in detail about this film. It turns out that James, after the accident that took his wife's life, decided to stop being a police officer because of the trauma that haunted him. Especially when Casey said that he would rather lose his father than his mother. It's really painful. Actually, Casey has a girlfriend who always pays attention to him. In one scene, it is shown that they are chatting and having dinner. Casey is a cheerful figure who actually hides his emotional wounds because of one incident. Casey was once given a pen that had a flashlight on the end, but he lost the pen in the car where he worked. Then he told James not to tell his girlfriend Sarah that his pen was missing. The film received appreciation for not only relying on action, but also a deep exploration of fear, the will to live, and how war changes humans emotionally. The universal themes of war trauma and individual struggles amidst conflict make this story appealing to a wide range of audiences, especially those who enjoy more emotionally heavy sci-fi. The film Armor 2024, starring Sylvester Stallone and Jason Patric, has received a fairly mixed response from critics. Overall, the film has received relatively low marks, with an average score of around 4.5, 10 from several major reviews. Overall, Armor is suitable for fans of light action or for those who want to see Stallone on screen, but is not a film recommended for audiences looking for a deep action experience. Stallone's performance was said to add value to some scenes, but most of his character felt two-dimensional. Jason Patric, despite trying to give his character depth, was considered less successful in saving the film as a whole.